This is the second part of the information section of the beginner's guitar course. So this section we're going to just look at how to hold your guitar. Now you might think that holding your guitar might be an obvious thing of how to do it, but if you've never done it before, how are you supposed to know? So we're going to go through all the fundamentals of how to hold your guitar, just to make sure you're doing it right and that you've got good posture. I'm speaking as a right-handed person, so my right hand is going to be doing the picking or strumming, so that means that the guitar needs to sit across my right leg. So it sits across my right leg and it's close to my body. If you're looking at the classical approach, classical guitarists will actually play, if you're right-handed, with the guitar across their left leg. But you won't see many pop, rock or folk or anyone like that, country players or anything like that, playing in that style. You sometimes will, but not always. So the best way is just to get used to playing with the guitar across your right leg if you're right-handed. If you're left-handed, just do the exact same thing in reverse. You're picking with your left hand, so that should mean the guitar will sit across your left leg. Now there's a bit of a bad habit that I see happen an awful lot with beginner guitar players. They will tilt the guitar at an angle like this. Now this is not a good way to do it because it means that your hand has to reach a bit further. Your hand's not going to be in a very in the best position. And also if you want to play stood up one day, if you want to play a gig and you're playing stood up and you're used to having your guitar in this position, when you stood up the guitar is going to be flat against your body. And it's just not going to work. You're going to feel completely alien to it. I see a lot of people do that. They'll come to me saying, I'm trying to play stood up and I just can't do it. And I'll say, well, it's because you've been playing like that. So have the guitar vertical against the body. Like I say, it might be a little bit harder to see where you're putting your fingers at first, but it really is the best way. So I'd say try and get used to it. And a little tip here that I might mention later on as well, if you are finding it hard to see what your fingers are doing and you want to be able to keep track of it, I always practice in front of a mirror. It sounds like a strange thing to do, and when I tell people to do this, they'll often think it sounds strange and they feel a bit embarrassed about doing it. But practicing in front of a mirror does a multitude of different things to help you play guitar. One, it means you'll be able to see what you're doing better without having to strain your neck or having to put your neck down, which is going to give you bad neck problems or back problems. It'll also help you because you'll be able to see what your technique is like. For example, your strumming hand, if you're strumming correctly or not. A quick summary of what we've covered there. So basically, if you're right-handed and you're picking with your right hand, then that means your guitar should be rested across your right leg. If you're left-handed and you're picking or strumming with your left hand, then the guitar should be across your left leg, and have your guitar vertical and close to your body. And a little subject I want to touch upon here, which is about posture. My guitar teacher used to tell me about sitting straight and making sure you have good posture. And I was quite young and I, to be honest, ignored it. And what's happened is, as I've grown older, I've found that I have real problems with my back and with my neck and my shoulders. And it's mostly because I used to practice for hours upon hours, and I used to have my back really hunched, and I used to be quite tense when I was trying more technical things, and I used to put my neck over my head forward so I could see the strings a bit better. And it's just caused lots of problems in my neck and back. I'm not saying to be really stiff or really rigid about your posture, but just be aware of it, because if you don't have good posture, then it can cause you problems. You should be quite relaxed, your shoulders should be nice and loose, your back should be straight, your neck should be straight, and just stay nice and relaxed, and it'll do you the world of good. And finally here, one thing I just think I should really cover quickly. I won't go into too much detail about this, but just quickly cover. If you're wanting to play stood up, now as I touched upon before, if you're practicing sat down and your guitar is at an angle, it's going to make it hard for you when you stood up. When you play stood up, it can feel very different. You probably won't want to practice stood up. You'll probably be practicing sat down, but you should practice standing up as well if you do want to be out on stage gigging and things. But your majority of practice should be sat down. But when you're stood up playing, the guitar can feel a bit different because it's at different angles. So it's up to you how you want to do it. I mean, the old punk guys used to wear the strap of the guitar really low, so they were playing almost between the legs. Some players like Tom Morello of Rage Machine would play with his guitar completely under his chin. But a good place to start is, however you've got your guitar when you're sat down, set your strap of your guitar so it sits in pretty much the same position. Then when you play stood up, it should feel quite similar to how it feels when you're sat down. And then you can adjust the strap to how you feel comfortable when you get more used to playing stood up.